So with further ado, we're going to be talking about contents estimates and how do we create them. Well, I'm already in a claim, so you can see that I can see from claim data all the way down to the notepads that you can see right here, notebook, excuse me. And I have it selected on contents estimate. When you do the wizard, when you set up the claims wizard, it will ask you if you would like to use a contents estimate with a coverage and a deductible. Once you put that in there, the wizard will automatically create this contents estimate, as you can see right here. So, but the first thing that we need to do before we start getting into a contents estimate, we must address a couple key factors. The first one is that when you click on the contents inventory, make sure that it says contents inventory and use coverage information says contents, because that ties the coverage to the estimate, and that's very important, or else you won't be able to have those figures carry over to your forms. Okay, so that's very important that you do that. The next thing that you need to do, what I always do, is make sure that you're on the Simsol personal property, but the important thing is keeping up with your pricing. Global pricing table in use, 2018 price guide January. So try to keep up with the most current price guide. Okay. If you need to check that, you can always go to database, which is right here, and then select it 2018 price guide. If you follow up with the automatic updates when you first start the program, it will tell you, would you like to take that that update, and you will say yes. So I'm just going to click on done to get out of there. All right. Before we continue on to the next screen, we need to address something very important, which is going to be called the inventory valuation, and that's the RCV and ACV amounts. It's very important that you do this, because if not, if it just says 0 and 0 for RCV and ACV, your file will get kicked back. Okay, so another thing that you need to be aware of is that if you're putting in an evaluation for, like, for example, 50,000, and you write in contents over 60, then your file will also get kicked back, because how can you pay for something that is undervalued? So make sure that you match your RCV and ACV above what you're writing for. Okay, so just be aware of that. Another thing, and this is real important, we need to make sure that our default sales tax is in place prior to the first line item, because what happens is when you start picking these line items, it automatically applies a sales tax. If there's nothing in there, that's what you get nothing. So make sure that we address the sales tax. Another way that you can also put sales tax is from the inventory summary page. So as I click on that, and you can see that it's an inventory summary page, I'm going to click on the sales tax. From the sales tax, you could click on lookup, and then it does the same action. So there's two places where we can address it. Okay, I'm going to go back up to the contents inventory, make sure that we have 6% selected for this estimate, and we're ready to go. If you're doing a wind claim and it's a full replacement cost coverage, please remember that excludes sales tax on non-recoverable depreciation. If you're doing a flood claim, by default it's ACV. You don't have to worry about that. Also, we can always add a depreciation table, or which is right here, and I can then come up and click on Simsol table is a good one. Click on yes, and then you can then hit the standard contents depreciation guide. When I click on that, we click on yes, and we make sure that we have that in place. So I'm going to try that again. Simsol table. Click yes, click OK, and then that will take in our Simsol table in there. So we click on done. So that way, when it comes in, any new line item will then be appreciated as you put the age in. So that's a really nice feature. So with that, we're going to come over and go into the inventory of items. So the contents inventory is divided up into contents inventory, which you see right there. We call that the information window. The inventory of items, that's where we're going to define the areas and actually do the estimate. And the inventory summary is very similar to the total page within a building. It adds everything up. So we're going to go right into the inventory of items, and I'm going to create an area. Remember